We are live.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
What could be more reprehensible than 2 old farts? 3 old farts featuring Dave and Steven and Greg Schapiro with funny ha-ha.
And we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Funny,
Mr. Shapiro, Happy New Year. This is your first show of 2024 with us.
And we're back. Indeed, all the numbers have changed. It's the future now, and
It's the future. Yes, it's the future. We have flying cars.
Is that official? Is it official? It's now the future.
And welcome to the future.
It's you know what
Oh.
we just it's the future again. There you go.
Yeah.
We're in the future.
Time keeps on moving.
So shall I start off then on a positive note? Because I've noticed that the most trending hashtag for this future we're now living is hashtag World War III.
Oh, great!
Yes.
So really, there's no point in talking to you about climate anymore, Greg, because doesn't seem to be important, mate.
Yeah, it's honestly
end of the show.
Well, thank you for joining.
We're all going to die.
You're all going. Yeah, I don't want to be rude, but we're all going to die anyway. With Exact on Lost Dollar Business Club, we started the first show of the year. It's 2024, the end of democracy. It's the end of the world. Myself and the Illuminati and the lizard people want to thank you humans for being here. And now we're going to kill you all. So there you go.
Yeah.
Except for the dolphins. Yeah. So long.
So yeah.
The dolphin.
Yeah, right.
Well, hashtag World War III then. Well, that's what everybody's
Hashtag World War III.
Forget climate. Forget climate.
Isn't that great? Yeah, well, I mean, we could start off with one thing I saw, I think yesterday in the Guardian newspaper. There's something called the Mayor's Institute, MERZ. And again, this was a headline that always like makes me go, wait, what? The headline was something to the tune of, is human behavior responsible for climate change? Or consumer behavior even? I always am sensitive for someone saying, yeah, sure, there's like a handful of billionaires that are just ruining it for everybody. And then the multinational, corporations.
And you're welcome for that, by the way.
Right? Yeah. But meanwhile, no, let's talk about how I'm not separating my plastic well enough.
But they say if you separate plastic, it doesn't do anything, and it's a bunch of BS. So we've been separating plastic now. They literally say it's like it doesn't do anything. They don't do anything different with it anymore. That's all a bunch of propaganda crap to make their lives easier.
Every time I study it, it's like the technology keeps changing. So indeed, like cling film,
Is it not better then to split all this plastic up, because that means the fish can eat it a lot quicker?
Yeah, right.
The only thing I do with my plastic is if I buy one of those things where whether it's, I don't drink soda, but bottles that come in those little plastic necks that hold them.
Yeah, soda bottles.
Like the soda, the things that, whatever you want to call those, condoms for soda. Yeah. What I do is I will cut those with scissors though, so they don't get around like a turtle or something, because I'm cognizant that we throw crap in the ocean. So I literally cut them up. And then what I do is
do you have a big turtle problem in Austin, Stephen? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yes, can I tell you, land tortoises here, biggest problem in the world when you drive your car. It's like living in New Zealand.
Or is it a fashion thing?
With a big whale.
Is it a fashion thing? Everybody's wearing turtlenecks, and you're trying to stop people from wearing turtleneck sweaters by cutting the plastic. Is that what it's all about?
Look at the time. I've got to go. Anyway.
Planet, like cutting our 6-pack holders. I mean, look, I don't know. In Amsterdam, they've had in the Netherlands, I've seen 6-pack holders. There's like a 6-pack with a cardboard.
Right. But here in America, God forbid we do that, because that would make sense. We recycle cardboard. We use the plastic, the old-fashioned plastic things. So, you know,
Yeah.
like Gatorade over here, instead of Gatorade,
Yeah.
if you buy like a 12-pack of Gatorade, it comes in those plastic things. So I
Yeah.
cut those to make sure if they end up in the ocean, which they will, that it's a little piece of plastic. So God forbid that somebody nibbles on it, it'll go through their system, but they won't get stuck around their neck.
Good for you. Meanwhile,
That's
I'm
my-
sorry, I do know this, that the garbage is no longer being separated as much. They did a
Okay.
study to figure out that the carbon emissions from the collection trucks, since the trucks are good old diesel trucks still, the emissions are worse by making separate trips for the separate types of garbage. Meanwhile, the incinerator, waste to energy plant, is now hungry enough. We're importing garbage from Rome, and I've said, But so I think some of the paper,
that's what it is.
Clothing.
Right.
Anyway,
Interesting.
but sorry, I was getting back to consumer behaviors, right? And this was from the Mayor's Institute. Indeed, the Mayor's Institute, they're actually talking about, a quarter of like the Western civilization is a lot of consumerism is coming from, our Western habits and whatnot. And like, then they get back to the question of like, well, what could we do to make people feel better about, get ready for it, consuming less? And I'm always just like, what? No, that's not going to happen. But then again, you're talking about trying to influence screenwriters and algorithm developers. And these are people who've had actually studies, where they have had a specific effect on either being aware of biodiversity or being aware of, food security. But anyway.
So basically, are we just talking about propaganda? Is this is now? Okay.
Yeah,
so they're doing
propaganda.
the economic shrinkage where they still charge you $5 for the bag of potato chips, which used to be just say 50 ounces, and now it's 45. And so they're already doing the shrinkage there. So basically, it seems to me, and David's going to get a lot of hate mail for this because I don't read it. So you might as well read it, David. The fat people, it's their fault. The fat people are the people that are killing the planet because they eat more, they pass gas more, and because they don't want to, I guess, be skinny. And some can't because they have a medical condition. I understand that because of thyroids. I got that. But I'm talking about the other people that are just fat and they eat like they have 42 rectums. They're killing the planet. We should kill them. I'm just saying. There you go. That's the. I'm going to become a screenwriter, and that's there's the movie.
In some cultures, of course, being skinny. I mean, being shall we say, rounded is considered to be a sign of wealth and a sign of beauty.
Oh my God! Of course.
India, that's awesome.
Women's figures. Very, very different story.
Watching a thing at the weekend. I think it's about Tonga and everything like they have a big problem in Tonga with.
But I'm okay with places like Tonga because it's a beautiful place. It's green. They have no problems. I don't care you're a little Zoftic in Tonga. I'm talking in the Western culture where you wear stilettos and you strike oil on the beach because you're that fat. And when a cop comes up to you because you're that fat and he says, break it up, and he's just talking to you because he thinks there's a crowd. Those are the people we just should get rid of now because
this is
get rid of them.
It's playground snaps category. Your mom was so fat, she cut herself and all that came out was gravy.
I
was going to bring it back to World War III, hashtag World War III.
Yes, please, go ahead. I'm sorry. Are we going to kill the fat people in World War III?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted this show to be funny. That's why I started off with World War III, not talking about.
Oh my God!
Well, there's one scenario I think where consuming less is really is popular, and that's rationing. I mean,
so let's have a war.
Hey, welcome to North Korea.
It was very noble, to eat less sugar, chocolate, jam. Honestly, yeah.
So basically, welcome to North Korea, everybody. Where you too look like a toothpick. So that's going to be awesome. I think, all serious now. I just was reading the Financial Times.
World War III is good for the environment. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
It's still
Taiwan,
in anything.
Taiwan, there's this little country,
Yeah.
it's some pissant country no one ever heard of. They're breaking their relations with Taiwan and they're going to support China. And I read this.
Wait, is that why
who
we're
cares?
World War III or Gaza? Houthis World War III.
Listen, I don't want to be rude or anything, but they've been fighting with my people in the Middle East since the beginning of the day. So they're going to be fighting there for a while. I think
Steven
your World War
announces
III
his
is going to
bias.
be. I'm just saying.
Live on
Listen, listen. It's the Jewish thing. We know. I have a list of all the Jews. So here's what's going to happen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You have Gaza, which is going on. I know we just struck Yemen, and then South Africa or somebody or so said that was a no-no.
South
Turkey
Africa
said it
has
was a
indeed
no-no. It's like,
applied
South Africa and Turkey
well,
should never speak. But my point is, I think you're going to have, if you're going to have World War III, it's going to be because Russia decides to get a bigger set of balls, and now they're going to push through the Ukraine into Poland, and they're going to use some sort of limited nuclear strike. I think you would have China.
Well, that's something.
If Russia does that, that's a pleasant thought. Keep that up. And then if you're going to have, and then the other part of it would come if China really decides one day that they're going to not be passive aggressive anymore, and they really are going to go and cross over to the PLL is going to go into Taiwan. There's your World War III, because now it's on two fronts. It affects everybody, and now there's World War III.
That won't happen because there won't be any chips. So, well, it will solve the food problem then, because of chips.
Look, I mean, we have a problem with overpopulation and global warming, and if we have a nuclear winter, that would limit the human population, and it would really limit global warming.
And
so
ration food.
Again, World War III is good for the climate.
And this show you're putting on this year, Greg, it's called Good News, Good Climate News. Is that right?
Good climate news. World War III. Here we come.
It's good old climate good news. And and the stand-up comedy show I'm doing, it's an hour, a stand-up hour devoted to sharing good climate news. It's called Greg Schapiro Saves the Climate, and
wow,
I'm doing that like once a month just for fun.
Very nice. I saw actually your thing on LinkedIn. I saw that you were doing that. And you had a bunch of people, and they were thumbing you up, and they were touching you and whatever. And then I saw
they were doing what?
They were they were giving him thumbs up and touching him. Oh. And then I read the caption below, and apparently, they cleared their case in court. But it was very cool to see him do that. And I actually, one of them, there was a little video clip, so I got to listen to him. He was talking about how Americans. I do listen to your stuff. He was talking about the difference between Americans and Europeans, the way they speak. And I was laughing my butt off because when he's speaking as an American, he actually didn't have to use the microphone. Here's how Americans speak. And he's like, rah! He goes, and that's them just normal. And then when he was being a European, he has, hello, how are you? Nice to see you with the mic. And I was like on the floor. And I thought about it. And I'm like, that is probably very true.
It's
not soft.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Americans are
rude.
The distances are bigger.
That's right. That's what you were saying. That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
Everything's bigger in the US.
Thank you.
It's super.
I told that to all the girls. Everything's bigger in the US.
Yeah.
Let's talk about good news. Let's talk about
I have some examples if you like. I mean, last time I think David was not with us in December. Stephen and I talked about the sort of
that happens quite a lot. Actually, I'm not always with you, but carry on.
Yes. We got. I think we came upon the theme of setbacks and bounce backs.
Yes.
And so I have some examples of those.
Please.
In the field of climate mitigation, but also adaptation and decarbonization. I'm not sure
does that have to end in nation? Then is that important?
It helps, in terms of politics and speech writing. Yeah. I just read that Ford Motors is now using organic materials for some of their vehicle components, and they're actually using olive trees, wood from olive trees for some of the vehicle components. I have to look into exactly what it is, but meanwhile, I also saw the news that olive oil is becoming way more expensive because the olive trees are being hit by climate change in climates like whatever.
And the Ford Motor Company's changed.
And apparently dashboards of Ford cars.
So. Now we're cutting down the olive trees.
Oh my God.
Just when the olive crops are already
It didn't. Was the original? They were using hemp, weren't they originally? So
Yeah, there was sure.
The very first Fords.
It's 420 here,
yeah.
so light up.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is again the good news, which is not always great news.
But here's
Well,
what's
it's good
funny,
news if
going
you
back-
call good news if you called olive. I think.
I guess
Yes,
that.
yes.
A lot of
That's-
olive.
yeah,
But
right.
here's the interesting thing. A little while ago, we were kidding about fat people. Yeah. Anyway, but we were saying that consumerism. So here's a perfect example of stupidityism with consumerism is, so let's make it better. Let's cut down the olive trees, use whatever we're using in our cars. Oh, and by the way, it won't really affect the olive oil price. It's just going to go higher.
Yeah.
Seriously, are we this stupid as a society?
Right.
that,
No. It's logical because that way you see you got this really nice new Ford car with all the olive wood and everything in it, and also you have if you have to drive slightly further to the next hypermarket because the first one you went to run out of olive oil, you got a nice car to sit in. I mean, you can see the logic of it.
Can the cars run on olive oil?
Oh, well,
No, because that'd be a short.
Because we cut down all the olive trees.
Yeah.
But there'd be a shortage. There'd be a shortage, and Olive would be so pissed if you cut down any more of her trees.
Anyway, this is good news. This is bad news masquerading as good news, but there's a bounce back in the transport sector, which I have read about. And again, I'm trying to focus mostly on Dutch stuff if possible.
Right.
There's an aviation firm that is working on. I want to call it an e-jet, electric aviation. Sure. I don't know if it's jet. It could be propeller as well. But anyway, there is an aircraft. It's called the Elysian. I believe that's correct. Elysian. Yeah. And it is, it seats 90 and it's run on battery electric. Nice. And so apparently it can go up to 800 kilometers. I don't know if that counts as short haul or
that's definitely short. That's 800 kilometers. That's 420 miles. So that's literally
like
it's a real short trip.
So
are they using that for the immigration problem then? Because of that
could be. Yeah, we need crash test dummy people. I don't know.
Wow.
Send them
You're
to
calling
Rwanda.
the immigrants dummies. Nice.
Send them to Rwanda.
Not Deutsche, but DHL. The Nazis. They have a E-jet that they're using for I want to say cargo. I mean, it's not that big, but it's more. It almost looks like a little baby Lear jet, a little bigger than like a Lear or a Gulfstream, somewhere in the middle. But they're using that to transport mail now throughout Germany. And so that was interesting when I saw that. So I think that's part of your E-jet thing. That's a really cool thing.
There's a lot of was it Stuttgart? There's one German city that's like the Toulouse. France has Toulouse for aviation. Airbus. The Netherlands had Fokker Airlines, which came up along with KLM. And now they still make aircraft, but you don't hear about them very much. But I'm very happy, for any Dutch brands because that's where I live and the economy does well. But yeah, indeed, I was at a meeting for the Netherlands Innovation Network, and they were talking about owning the future. The future, welcome to the future. In terms of aviation, as well as microchips and AI and or quantum. But anyway, aviation is a big one, and it sure would be nice if the Netherlands could start cranking out either they talk about sustainable aviation fuel. Which could be biomass, used cooking oil. Or I think I read on the BBC that now there are planes powered by human poo. Yeah. So
Ryanair.
Or to use Stephen's, how he would deal with the obesity problem is to melt down lots of people and use their body fat for
liposuction. Think about it. Yeah.
Like the way you're thinking. Listen, if you're over if you're over a certain fatso, we lipo you, put your lipo into the plane, and then you get to fly in the plane. That's your fare.
Yeah.
I like it.
And as the Dutch would say, lijp, jongen.
That's too funny. So, but it's interesting with everything going on. Well, see, you guys in the Netherlands, one, because I think just because you're the Netherlands and you're surrounded by water, you always have to be, coming up with something. You guys seem to always be ahead. Like we talked last time about hydrogen planes and things that are coming out, and there's all this stuff. So I'm fascinated that you guys do this. And some of it I know doesn't, succeed. It's out and it dies, and others doesn't. I know I was looking at the Rob report the other day, and for 192,000,
you're looking at the what?
The Rob report. It's where us billionaires buy our toys, right? So, and for 192,000 US, you can get a flying, lack of a term, car that has big four thing. You can fly yourself.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, it's a Dutch.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that's really cool until 50 morons are in the same area in the air and they slam into each other. Right. And then I'm thinking, so if I lived in New York City, am I going to fly myself to another rooftop? They're not going to let that happen. Now, here in Texas, where literally everybody sits on 50 acres, sure, I can fly all over and not run into another soul. But if you're in a real city like Los Angeles or San Francisco, or even Dallas, where am I flying this to? So they're cute toys, but until we figure out how to make it better.
Yeah. I think every time I see a Ferrari in traffic, it's just...
It kind of kills that mystique, doesn't it?
You see the Ferrari trying to get into a paid garage, these parking places.
Yeah. That's not happening. Are you kidding? They're so worried about the scrape.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all
plus stuff. I like the idea of electric planes and stuff. I mean, you can imagine if Jeffrey Epstein had an electric plane, nobody would ever knew where he was flying off to, would it? Because he'd do it like really quietly.
Oh my God!
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, the good news is coming out of the Netherlands and saving the planet.
Maybe. Oh, I got more else? We're more back to medicine. Okay, nanoplastics in bottled water. Have you not microplastics, but nanoplastics? We're all
even better.
Poisoning ourselves. Cancer for everyone. We're all doomed. But back to this is the category of adaptation. There are new techniques for
what do you mean water. Are they adding it especially to it? Is that what you're saying? There's an additive.
It could, yeah. I don't know if it's the leaching they call it or bleaching or whatever, but bottled water in plastic. Apparently, it's problematic. But there's a new treatment for forever chemicals in bottled water that will zap forever chemicals for good, and plant-based filter removes up to 99% of microplastics from water. Microplastics are bigger than nanoplastics, but anyway, it's just to me, it's every time there's a bit of bad news, there's a bit of good news. It's kind of just this like tit for tat, it seems like it's all bad news, I know, but for every piece of bad news, it seems like there's maybe some piece of good news coming.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, I saw an interesting illustration this morning.
Yeah.
In a UK newspaper, it was talking about what happened if all the ice melted, and it was a map of the UK, which is like 3/4 underwater.
Yeah.
So you had things like Norwich,
when it rained,
like Norwich was floating as an island in the middle of the North Sea.
Wow.
So but lots of water here as well. I should probably notice, Greg, and I won't. At least it's not freezing, so we won't get onto that to all that skating business.
In the Netherlands. It's gonna be cold in the Netherlands, but not cold enough to go skating, unfortunately.
Thank God for that.
It is very cute if you watch the Dutch nightly news. If the temperature gets below freezing, they will devote huge amounts of the nightly news to.
I did say this. I did say that to Stephen. Yeah, it is insane. It's important.
Yes, it's more important than actual world news.
Actual news.
I want my one. Are we skating or not?
That's right. It's like virtual. Am I getting up tomorrow at 6 a.m. to go skating, or am I sleeping in?
They get up like if it's that cold, they get up mega early to go skating.
Really?
Because they like to be on the ice, on the natural ice, to see the sun come up.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah. See, I like the cold, to an extent because of the fireplace and the scotch that you have with the cold
Ah,
weather,
yes.
other than scotch with any time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like, that's crazy, right? But I don't like the cold, like it's -7 here Celsius. So when I got up this morning, my dog, she is in heaven. She's running around like this is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
What kind of
She
dog?
thinks this, she is 25% chow, 25% boxer, 25% lab, and 25% pit bull, American
That
Sapphire.
was one.
So she
Yeah.
looks like,
It
but
was
she
one
looks
hell
like
of
a
a
German
party.
Shepherd. Go
Yeah.
figure.
One hell of a
We
party.
did a DNA test, but she
Yeah.
looks like a German Shepherd. And I'm like, I don't get it. But anyway, I don't know.
Okay.
But
But the
Well,
Labrador
the German
right.
loves
But
the
she
cold.
went out there.
sounds like the German
But-
Shepherd got it though, by the sound of it, doesn't it?
I know, right? But she goes in this cold weather. She is a whole nother dog. Like she walks out of the house and she's like, "Oh, it's cold. We're gonna go run, right? We're gonna go do." And I'm like, so we usually go for this mega walk in the morning anyway. But this morning, like after the mega walk, she's like, "We're gonna go again, right? 5 more times." And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna take you to the dog park and let you run around." So she and the couple dogs she knows, they go there, and usually in the mornings they all like sniff, say hello, and we're done.
Okay.
You would think they hadn't seen each other in 7 years. They saw each other at
7 dog
7:30
years.
last night. The dogs, right? 12 hours. They are running around, beating the heck. And I'm like, oh my, and they won't, none of them want to come in because they love this weather. They want to be on the balcony. They want this, they want that. The minute it gets back up to like 5 Celsius,
Uh-huh.
my dog's like, nah, it's too hot for me. So yeah, so my dog's enjoying this, but I am not a proponent of it, even though now I have bought, because we live in Texas, Nanook of the North clothing. I have a jacket that's good for like -50. I've got like gloves that are good for -50. I've got like thermals that are good for, I mean, I go out there and I look like Nanook of the North. Yeah. I could live in your country at this point with the clothes I have to wear.
I grew up in
crazy.
Chicago, don't forget. And
So there you go.
Those winters were brutal. Honestly, yeah, if you go outside without the right protective gear, you'll die. I still remember we were going to university at Northwestern University. So that's on the river, on the lakefront, basically by Lake Michigan. And if the wind shifts, like even the land climate out of the Northwest is vicious, Northeast more vicious. And we had a dorm mate, a woman from down the hall, and she was from Texas.
Oh wow!
Freshman year at Northwestern, and it snowed for the first time, and she got up around 10 and goes to get breakfast in her pajamas. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, we're coming back from class. Wasn't it canceled? They canceled. There's snow. We were like, oh, we got bad news for you.
Oh, you want to hear? You want to hear? This is how they think in Texas.
Yeah.
We in 2015 we had a company here, and it was going to be 40 degrees, 40. So not even freezing. So let's see, that would be 5 Celsius, 40 Fahrenheit. Okay. Now, for everybody on the planet, 0 Celsius and 32 Fahrenheit is freezing.
Yep.
Okay. So our COO sends an email to everybody and says, no one come to work today. There could be freezing. Really? I didn't realize math in Texas is much different. So meanwhile, the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. So me and the 5 other guys from New York who get in at 4:30, 5 o'clock to the office every day, we see this come out at 6 o'clock, and we're like, what the? And he's like, well, there could be freezing. I'm like, all right, no problem. So by later the day, it's still 5 Celsius, 40 Fahrenheit. Sun's out. It's a gorgeous day. So I call back to New York to check on somebody. I go, how's it going? He goes, great. And I told him what happened. He starts laughing. Now New York is having what they call a northeaster. Right, where you can't see the building out your window next to it because it's white out. And I know he has about 200 people in his office. And I said, so how's it going? He goes, great. I said, you want to see our office today? Because it's 5 Celsius / 40 Fahrenheit. He goes, sure. I turn my phone around. We're all 4 of us are waving at him. He's like, oh, very cool. He goes, you want to see my office with a nor'easter? I'm like, I don't even know. There's not a desk that's empty. Not a desk that is empty. These people in Texas, they are such pussies when it comes to the cold. Like, I'll go brave it, but they don't want to drive in it. They don't want to do this in it. The stores here were -7, okay, which is about 16, 15 Fahrenheit. Everything is sold out. There's no water on the shelves. There's no food. They are worried that we're going to die. Now, just so we're clear, on Wednesday, it will be 5 Celsius or 40 degrees.
Yeah.
But yesterday, Sunday, today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they are afraid that the world is coming to an end. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me. This is like, for a state that's supposed to be tough, that's
right.
So, just saying.
Yeah. Well, I was saying to Stephen earlier on there, Greg, I mean, it's been today's wacky weather day. Yeah, we've had everything. We've had
in the Netherlands.
It's we've had snow, hail, sunshine. It's
like
bright
sunshine, and then
bright
the
sunshine.
darkest clouds. Is there such a thing as a snow rainbow? Because
I think
I
so.
would imagine so. Yeah.
Sun shower, hailstorm while it's sunny. It's everything all in the space of one day or so. Well, what else? Oh, sorry, I promised one thing about. I'm going to pivot to my last example. I got decarbonization. Was another one. Yes, there's in the U.S. right. Biden administration just says thumbs up to the air capture. Carbon removal, but like basically the humidifier, dehumidifier
for the planet.
That's the big vacuum cleaner thing that's been developed. By the Dutch people.
There was Carbion in Eindhoven. They're still still doing that, as far as I know. Iceland has definitely started it, but the problem is, the challenge is to try to scale it up, and if you power this thing with green energy and whatever, then it's apparently it has a net gain of, but if it's only tiny bits at a time, it's not much. But anyway, and what do you do with the stuff? Once you capture all this carbon, but now apparently there's a market for it.
Well, they're trying to make a market. We don't have it. Brazil's trying to be the biggest market in the world. Europe has somewhat of a market. The problem here in America is, I was talking to a developer. He's doing stuff in Canada and here, and they want to make an ESG carbon credit friendly, blah, 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 go into all this stuff community. I'm like, that's awesome. And here's what his biggest issue is. He goes, Steve, I don't know where I can't sell it. Because in America, we don't certify it. Like in Europe, you certify it. The rest of the world certifies it. So so if someone comes in and says, oh, you're doing XYZ, that's 15 carbon credits a day. And people are like, great, I can sell 15 carbon credits a day if I'm a company or offshoot my smokestack. In America, they don't have anybody that certify it. So it's kind of like, okay, I produced, and I could say 10,000 carbon credits an hour. And someone's gonna be like, okay, but it's not certified. So nobody knows what to do with that. So they have this great idea, but because we are so behind as a country when it comes to this, even though we're a big, like, let's go save the world, but we don't do shit about it.
Who would
this is an issue?
Would it be a government agency?
Who's going to certify it though? How do you certify it? Who's going to trust? I mean, like,
maybe that's the thing.
All we could do, we could start the Steve, Greg, and David agency.
Right.
We could certify
all the carbon offset agencies.
Right. Correct. So we could do that. And then all of a sudden people are like, well, they're the gold standard when it comes to certification.
Right.
And it's like, but that's the problem here. It's like globally, like, you have all these great ideas and there's only a handful of places, Europe being one of them, that actually, if I have carbon credits, I can sell them because the rest of the planet doesn't know.
The good news I'm trying to aim at is, again, setback, bounce back. So the setback is, there's no standardization. There's no, verifiable market, I guess. But apparently there are new technologies coming along that are hungry for carbon. There's one article from Washington Post, I think, about how, beer needs carbonization for the bubbles.
There you go.
And they're actually figuring out in the brewing process, they can capture their own carbon, and now they can, at least it's circular, so they don't have to pay for importing carbon carbonization or whatever. I'll send that along as well. But there's another bit here about they're making fuel. It's possible to make fuel from CO2 carbon particles from the atmosphere. That was in Good News Network. I can send that link along. And the other one was they're making protein to replace soy, a food additive, gentlemen.
Another one. And in 20 years, that will give you cancer.
Carbon. We're not eating enough of it already in microplastics and nanoplastics or whatever. They
really just want to kill the people. Listen, if you just really want to kill the people, can you just literally, can the UFOs that are supposed to come in 2027, can you just come tomorrow? Can just, let's get it over with. Let's World War, do something. I mean, listen, Missile Boy in North Korea wants to push the button so bad. I think he's waiting for Papa Trump to win. So don't wait. Just push the button. Let's just get it over with. I mean, like, because you're just killing everybody slowly.
And see what happens.
There you go. It's like Dr. Strangelove. Did you ever see Dr. Strangelove, the movie?
Oh yeah.
Remember Sam Pickens is riding the missile on the way down with his cowboy hat? Let's just get Slim Pickens. Let's get Slim Pickens riding the missile. Let's just call it a day, because we're getting to a point. It really is getting so stupid of how we try to do. Like, let's take Ford. I'm going to pick on Ford. We're going to cut down olive trees. Now it's not going to affect anything. You're okay. And we're going to put those nice olive branches in your car, and we're going to use whatever we're going to extract from it, but it won't affect anything. Right. It's kind of like when they strip the forest. Right, but it's like when they strip the forest in Amazon, right? It's like you know why? Because they want the Jews to get together with the Palestinians. No, so they're going to sell these cars in Israel. So with an olive branch. Greg's writing. This is going to be a Greg show, by the way, next month. An olive branch in every car. So, but seriously, like when they strip forests in South America, and they're like, no, don't worry about it. And we're like, but the trees give us oxygen. Why are you doing that? Yes, but it's to build things. Yeah. Right. But if you can't breathe, why are we doing this? Sort of like.
But I was watching this program the other day, and there's this guy, I think he's called Pete, and he seems to be really good at capturing, all this CO2, all the bad stuff in the air. He's got loads of land, because he keeps saying that, it's a peat bog here and a peat bog there. So he says, must be a billionaire called Pete. And so that's, there's not enough of that around, it would seem.
Peat is bad for burning, but good for carbon.
He seems to own a lot of land. This guy Pete, and
Mr. Pete Boggs.
Mr. Pete Boggs.
I don't know, Pete Boggs, Wade Boggs. Yeah,
Wade Boggs. He's a baseball player, I think. But we are so screwed as a planet.
He should be in Lord of the Rings, I think.
By the way, the soy I mentioned, apparently the soy would be for animal consumption.
Let's not kill the humans, right? Let's not just kill the humans. Let's give it to the animals that are going to kill the humans.
Drinking the carbonization in bubbles, or no, I suppose you're not. No, you're drinking the carbon bubbles. I don't know. Would I be ready? I would be ready to try soy protein from.
Really? Is that after you? Did you try any of the beer that they were making after they collected all the Christmas trees? Because they using that to flavor the beer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I've not heard that. That's why I learned things.
It's another circular thing.
Really?
So Christmas trees to beer.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure if they're adding it to the flavor of the beer while they're brewing it, or they're using it to smoke.
They're using it to smoke
beer.
So
Okay.
They're smoking something.
But I don't think it's not as much money as that. But I'm going to see whether or not Mr. Pete Boggins is on the billionaire top 5. He must be, because he's got so much land. Got loads of land in Scotland, I saw the other day.
Oh yeah.
That's where we make the scotch. Unbelievable.
They make the scotch. They don't burn the peat. They smoke it. That's right. It's good smoky.
It doesn't smoke.
Yes.
It smolders politely, I think.
It's right. It's Scottish. It's very polite. Thank you.
Stephen, by the way, I meant to compliment you on your merch.
Thank you.
Your hoodie. Yeah.
So
it's
for the people that don't know.
No, it's the creation of Stephen.
So basically, we have a show called Rusty Art. Rusty took 4 months to paint the creation of David, which is, people have seen it. They've seen it. If not, you can go see the show. It's there. And we decided, because he took so long, that we were going to make these hoodies. So there's 2 hoodies. This one's Steve the Creator, where I'm in the center, and there's David on the side in his little bikini bottoms. And then we have
I'm actually placed where I should be, Stephen. I'm actually in your armpits.
Shouldn't everybody be there? So. But anyway,
what I'm
so
saying,
yeah,
just
so
saying,
your merch.
just saying.
But yeah, so you can either have David on the front of your chest, and for
Right.
all the gay guys in Key West and San Francisco, they've been buying the ones with David on the front, and then all the guys from New York have been buying me, of course, because it's Macallan Scotch right there. So there you go.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Greg, if you want one, we'll send you one, but you got to wear it.
Oh, really? What?
He's like, why do I have to wear it?
Do I do? Yeah, right. Wear the merch.
Wear the merch. Hey,
I'd be an influencer then.
You would be an influencer. You are an influencer on our channel.
You would certainly get people stopping you in the street in Amsterdam and saying what and going, wow. I don't quite know what they would say after they say wow, but you definitely.
I will tell you, I have worn this out when I first got it, and I did have people stop me and say, "Look at it." And one guy was like, "That is really cool. What is it?" And I told him, he's like, "Oh my God." He was looking because he kept looking at me and the thing. And then I went to the post office a couple of days ago and I wore it, not thinking. And the post office guy's just looking at me. And I think he thought I was going to like pull out an AR-15 and kill everybody, apparently, because I was wearing this. And I have other people that, and I have other people that see it and they just give you, they chuckle and they give you the thumbs up. So I'm like, all right. So people actually, I think it's just one of those things. It's like they get it. It's just goofy and it's fun. So cool. Yeah, we have lots of merch and stuff.
Maybe we should have the creation of Greg.
Ooh, we can do a creation of Greg.
Right.
Yeah. We could do Greg. We have to check with his agent though. We just can't do merch for Greg. We have to. It's a whole legal thing. We have to get clearances. There's 57 people we have to talk to. So, but Greg may have some surprises coming on our stuff.
Our guys talking to his guys.
His people are talking to our people. Okay.
Right.
So we can do that. That'll be very fun. So, gentlemen, the 45-minute mark is coming up quick. I always enjoy it with you guys because I'm done. I was good an hour ago. I was just done before I started. No, but I say I always enjoy this part of our when we do this show once a month because it goes very quickly.
The end of it. I
enjoy. Yes, I enjoy it because I learn things, and I'm like just the olive thing from Ford for me today is going to be my little doozy. And I look forward to seeing that joke in now Craig's act. So, but I just enjoy the show. I think we do try to bring good news, and then we do make fun of it to an extent. But it really is, I think people do need to be aware that there are things going out there. There's things that you can actually do. The three of us really do want the planet to go well. But it's just, I think it's nice that people know because most people don't really pay attention to any climate news, don't have a clue of what's going on. So it's nice that we can bring them this kind of levity.
All I can say is thank you, Pinocchio. That's all I can say. So.
I know. Part of the Illuminati and lizard people, our program is to make the humans feel good before we dominate you. So there you go. So, keep the climate going.
Honestly, wood is good for biomass. And if you can create it just by lying, I think Pinocchio might be greener than we ever thought.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
I knew a girl that dated actually Pinocchio, and she said she sat on his face once and she yelled, "Lie to me, Pinocchio, lie to me." So I just thought that was very nice. Yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I was just thinking if you could grow your nose and then like it would be wood or something. I mean, you'd make a fortune. Easy toys, wouldn't you? Because that'd be
yeah.
Imagine handkerchiefs or wooden. I don't know.
And Mr. Greg, before we go, because you will be back, we'll be back in February. You have a couple dates coming up. So what dates do you have before we see you in February?
If you like, I will be performing on the 24th of January in The Hague.
Excuse us.
Yes, we'll be talking about the International Court of Justice genocide trial of Israel. The country that accused Israel is South Africa.
Yep.
And Turkey. The logic being, you're doing it wrong.
That's right.
So that's the 24th, 26th in Utrecht. And then 4th of February, I think I'll be in the Mesrab Theater in Amsterdam with the Greg Schapiro Saves the Climate, 60 minutes of climate good news.
Wow. That's very cool.
Okay.
That's very nice.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
That's very nice. So we
got maybe we'll have some more good news coming onto the channel as well. So got some shows happening, and so we'll
Thanks for letting me do the pitch. I'll share these links.
We'll do the links, and then Mr. Shapiro may have stuff coming on our channel other than this. So once we know, And we
Oh
finalize
yeah.
and-
I'll give you some stuff to upload.
Yeah,
and
Once
then
these people have spoken to our people, and
once the legal documents have signed and we return family members, we'll get that up
Cool.
so you can see more Greg on our channel because we know people
man.
enjoy your stuff. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
But gentlemen,
Cool
it's always a
talk
pleasure.
forever.
Yay! Have a wonderful
Christian
thing. We'll
Laundry.
see you guys all next month. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year again for everybody who's tuning in for the first time in 2024 to Funny Haha. Greg, always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend. David,
Thank you,
I see
Stephen.
you every day. That's always a pleasure. And we'll see
Every day.
everybody next month. Cheers, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and like.
Bye.
Bye.